Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. Tonight we are going to take a look at an interview that we have had with a current celebrity, and so we're going to take a turn and start on down the road of Conversation Street. Alright, so recently our society has decided what is becoming more and more popular, and so what we have done is gone out and had interviews with current important people in America. So tonight on the show, we are going to be playing an interview with Houdini. So now we got our famous person and the interview prepared. Let's take a look at it. Here we go.
Is it true that you can escape from prisons?
Well, I mean, it's not exactly because I was a criminal. I never did anything wrong to throw me in jail, so to be thrown in jail. But what basically happened was, after a while, I began getting a reputation from being to escape from lots of things. So what would happen would be that wardens, which are prison owners, would invite me to their prisons to see if their prisons could prevent me from escaping. And so some of the prisons did take me a little bit of time, but I think one of my quickest ones was where I escaped a prison in about 15 minutes.
Wow. What other hobbies did you have besides magic?
Well, for quite a while, actually, I've had an interest in aviation and airplanes, and it was mainly because I've always been fascinated on how they operate and how they're built, and so yeah, I've always had an interest in airplanes and pretty much what they're used for.
Is it true you helped with World War I?
That actually is a true statement. So what was happening, well, what I did basically was because I had been hearing from other people about what troops and pretty much people fighting in the war were going through. I actually ended up canceling one of my tours, and what I did was I went to not really the front lines, but I went to not camps, but bases pretty much, and I just put on smaller versions of my shows for them to try to cheer them up.
Wow, that's interesting. Did any of your siblings ever take up magic?
Well, like I said earlier, I did try to get my brother Theo into magic, and when he was little, he never really got deep into it, but after a while, he did eventually start beginning to enjoy it more and more, and he actually did end up becoming a magician like me, but he just didn't become as popular.
You know, you have so many incredible tricks, but is there any particular one that you have been afraid to perform lately?
Well, actually there was one back in 1911, and it was actually in the city of Boston. So what had happened was that there was a beach in Boston, and a giant dead whale had turned up on the shore. And so I decided to try to perform a really dangerous trick, and so what had happened was they had police officers put me in handcuffs, and they put me in leg irons, which are basically handcuffs except for legs. and they put me like really far into the dead whale. I don't really remember how far into the whale I went, but it was a really good distance in. And to also make it even more difficult for me, they actually put chains around the whale itself, and like pull it on them to make it as tight as possible. And what made it so difficult for me was because of the smells and like the air inside of that dead whale. It wasn't necessarily clean, and even though it took me only about like 20 minutes to escape from inside the giant whale, I remember that I had actually nearly suffocated inside the dead whale.
Wow. How long did it actually take you to get out?
It took me maybe like 20 minutes, 25.
Wow. Mr. Houdini, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you today. And we look forward to seeing your show tonight.